Hey, you!
Huh? Oh, me?
Yeah, you want a duel?
Are you sure you want to duel me? I just hit level 17 and I'm pretty powerful.
Powerful, huh? Do you know what MMR is?
Ah, I do! Mason Melon's recipes!
What? No, you buffoon. It stands for matchmaking rating.
What's a matchmaking rating?
That's not the important part. The important part is how high my MMR is.
Oh yeah? I bet mine's higher.
No, mine is way higher than yours.
Well, that's what they all say.
Then let's duel, and I'll show you what a high MMR looks like. Hey you, and welcome back to my channel. Unless this is your first time, in that case you better strap in, subscribe, hit the like, this is the usual begging part of the video. Anyways, we're here today to talk about MMR, or better known as matchmaking rating. And a lot of people have questions about what matchmaking rating is, and if they are able to see their own matchmaking rating. Now, I don't claim to be an expert when it comes to MMR, but I've definitely played ESO long enough to be able to see it in action. So for those of you that are newer to ESO, and you're like, what the heck is a matchmaking rating? Well, if you've played Call of Duty before, you've heard of skill-based matchmaking, where it pairs you with players of similar skill levels, so that way you have a fair challenge. Hence, SBMM, or skill-based matchmaking. And games of that nature tend to have a very aggressive matchmaking rating system like that, but ESO is a little different. Now, for most games, you can't actually see your rating, but you can definitely feel it, and you know it's there. As, of course, the better you get at a game, the more challenging your opponent should become, naturally. Some games are very good at letting you know where your skill level is by giving you a certain rating or putting you in a certain division of players. ESO is not like that at all. The closest thing we have is the leaderboard, which you can check to see your score, but it gets cleared at the end of every week, so it's a bit tough to pinpoint your MMR. But from experience, you'll know that you're in a high MMR match when your entire team and the entire other team are full of healers. Why is this the case, though? Well, that's because ESO's MMR system seems to be rated off of who has the best score per game, and healers tend to get a lot of score per game, especially with the recent deathmatch queues. A lot of people are going to be taking damage, and those healers that end up in there are going to be healing those players that take damage, so they're going to be getting a lot of score. That's why a lot of games end up running out of the clock and no one actually dies, and then everyone gets mad. Except, of course, the healers who are like or something strange along those lines, feeling very satisfied with themselves for making their entire team not die. Now, I'm not dissing on the MMR system that ESO has. I'm just saying healers should not be getting as much score as they have and they're able to get just by healing. I don't have an issue with healers. I have an issue when every single match that you get into is full of teams of 3 healers and 1 DPS. You can see how that becomes a problem. Some matches, you get lucky and there's like 1 healer on the team, you kill him, and then the rest of the team dies. It's nice. Then you have those matches that are full of heal bots and nothing else. And then there's you, the DPS. And those are the kind of games that make me want to make this kind of video talking about MMR. I just want you to know what you should expect when it comes to MMR and just try and answer the general question of what MMR is and can you see or measure your MMR. Short answer is yes, you can, if you have the experience and you know what to look out for and what high MMR matches look like. Which you should now know, because I have described to you through the use of complaining about healers what high MMR matches consist of. Now, my job is to normally just make you aware of these kind of things, but for once I'm going to try and provide a little bit of a solution. The one solution I could say is simply, you can keep the MMR system as is, just please don't encourage healing as much as you are encouraging it at the moment. Encourage by, I mean, why do they get so many points? If you look at the leaderboard and you go and you look at the top of the leaderboard for the scoreboard of Battlegrounds for any game mode, you'll find that if you get in a game with that person, the character that they're playing is a healer. If there were more incentives for going offensive in a game, so dealing damage and such, then I'm pretty sure a lot more people would be going and playing offensive and using damaging builds. And that, or people just really don't want to die and are too afraid to die, so they just play a healer instead. I'm saying I prefer the method that we have right now for MMR and how it's determined. I don't want a kill-death ratio system like they have in Call of Duty, because you'll get to a point, especially in a game like ESO, where if that was the case and it was determined based off of your KD ratio, you'd get in games with people who could play equally as offensive and defensive. Meaning it'd be a never-ending series of duels in a battlegrounds match, so then no one ends up dying because you spend the entire match trying to kill one person who's way too good at playing defensive and also is way too good at keeping you on your defensive. It's an immovable object meets an unstoppable force kind of scenario. And when you're in that situation, games tend to be played as if there's money on the line. By that I mean it becomes very, very sweaty and then no one ends up enjoying the experience. This is why it shouldn't be a KD ratio kind of matchmaking system. So the simple fix would just be lower the amount of points healers get for healing and increase the amount of points damage dealers get for dealing damage. And that's that for the score part of it, but the other thing that your MMR can affect is your queue times, and you can definitely feel this when you queue with a group. Normally when you queue with a group, this is why you end up in a game where it's just two teams full of people and then one team is completely empty, as those two teams are normally pre-made. Pre-made groups as in people that are in a party together with microphones and voice chat and really, really nerdy stuff. And the worst part is you wait about 30 to 45 minutes to get in a game like that. Why does that happen? Well, when your MMR becomes high enough, of course it's trying to match you with players of similar skill level, but it can't find players of similar skill level because there's no one on that level with you. So it just becomes a population issue at that point. And you know, PvP is not the most populated thing in the world, but anyways, I'm still not 100% sure on how it calculates group MMR, like pre-made MMR, but my best guess would be it takes the total number, so if you imagine your MMR as a number score, it adds up the number score of all of your teammates' MMRs, including you, and then divides it by however many people are in your group. And then it tries to find other players in groups that have that same MMR or roughly around there, and when it can't, it keeps you in queue until someone does show up with that MMR. So that's why when groups of very good players queue up together, the queue can take upwards of 40 minutes or even longer, because there's no players with similar skill level to them. So the fix I would propose for this is, going back to that number score thing, if you have your total number score, the longer you wait in queue, you're subtracting numbers from it the longer you're in queue. So like, every minute subtract 100 score from the total, or something like that. And then eventually you'd get to a point where you could get in a game with somebody. They may be a bit of a lower MMR than you, but at least you wouldn't be waiting in queue for 40 minutes. And that's the other thing. I really would like ZOS to be more transparent with us about how the MMR system actually works, so that way you guys could know what to expect better when queuing for matches. Having said that, I really do enjoy ESO's version of the MMR system and how it ranks you based off of the score that you earn in game, and not a KD ratio kind of MMR system, because it actually allows you to have different types of playstyles for objective modes and such. And there's always a right way and a wrong way to do the MMR system. I think ESO has it down pretty good, just they need to adjust the scoring values of healers to DPS, because you're not really rewarded for doing a lot of damage in matches. I mean, for crying out loud, when you get to heavy hitting metal, you get like 10 points. Really? Come on. That's my whole scoop on the MMR system that ESO has. I do really quite like it. It's very nice. And healthy games should have matchmaking rating systems like this, but I'm just here to clear up the air about things that people just don't seem to understand about, like, what is MMR, what determines it, and can you even see your MMR? Also, please check the description of this video, because if I forgot anything, I will put it in the description of this video, and yeah. Good night.